Um, okay, first two games, 30 something point victories. Brock, what's one thing you've really liked about these first two games? And, being the grumpy old veteran you are, what are some concerns you have?
I just don't think we've dominated the games like we should have. Incarnate Word and Delaware State are both good teams, but we're not playing for early November. We're playing for national championships. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't, take care of the game from start to finish. But as you said, big wins in the end. So we're finishing the right way. We just have to start off better.
Jeff Jones, go ahead, please, sir.
Brock, hope you're having a good one, man. Good to see you. You have been a part of this gelling process before when you guys incorporate new impact players. When do you know we're clicking? Is there a moment that you can kind of pinpoint, like we know that we got this thing rolling?
It's hard to say where what's happening. It just kind of happens gradually. You'll have good practices, good games, grind out games, and then you'll start really playing like you're supposed to. Last year's team, it was a gradual thing, but I wouldn't say there's a specific moment. We're working towards that every single day to get better, but I can already tell this team is going to get where we need to go. We've got the right guys, right coaches, so I've got a ton of faith in that, but it takes time. Are those A&M jerseys in the back? That looks like maroon.
People always try to give me credit for being way more athletic than I am. Not A&M, Trinity University in San Antonio.
Yeah. All right, that's better.
Thanks for assuming I'm a D1 athlete, though. Appreciate you.
Very nice. Eric Henry, please follow up.
All right, Braga. I'm not sure when my camera's not working, so hopefully you can hear me. But just kind of piggybacking off of Jeff's question, what's been the biggest challenge in trying to acclimate, so many guys into a roster, guys who, played, whether it's, mid-major, high major, wherever, just, what's been the biggest challenge in trying to get those guys up to speed?
Over the past years with NIL and the transfer portal, every team has to work to have that chemistry. And so that's our biggest challenge this year. Last year's team faced a little bit of the same thing, but that's just part of it. Professional basketball, you have to do it, and we have to do it now with college basketball with the landscape. So that's the main thing. We're working towards that.
Christina, go ahead, please.
Hey, Brock. What do you think makes this year's roster different compared to the last handful of Texas teams you've been a part of?
A lot of things. I think that's a little too broad. We've got new players, we've got new coaches. Every year it's a new team with how NIL works in the transfer portal. So you might have to be a little bit more specific for me on that.
Yeah, I guess what sticks out to you, in a positive sense about this year's roster that maybe you haven't seen in the past?
Max Asmus is a big one. All-American candidate, unbelievable shooter, unbelievable teammate, unbelievable person. I've had a lot of fun getting to know him. Caden Shedrick, another one of those guys that's going to help us a lot. Dylan DeSue coming in. Ithiel Horton, with how he's able to shoot the ball and where we're going to get him on defense. It's going to be an exciting year.
Noah, go ahead, please, sir.
Hey, Brock, you just mentioned Ithiel, leading the team in scoring. We can kind of see what he's doing confidence-wise or just shooting, but how much has it been you guys instilling confidence in him being one of the veterans of the group, and what have you kind of seen from him to have the start he's having so far?
He's just a great shooter. He's been at a few schools, how college basketball works, how his game works within the game. So it's been easy, really. He takes the right shots. We're working to get a little bit better on defense. Not getting back cuts and whatnot, but it's been easy with Ithiel.
Mark Rosner, please.
Mark, I think you're muted.
I am sorry. You see the areas where this team is better than last season, and in areas where you need to catch up to be as good as last season?
Well, yeah, at this point, we're behind in all aspects of the game. We finished at a very high point last year. It's hard to compare a team in November to a team that played in the Elite Eight. This time last year, and who knew what we were going to be. But it just takes time and, days, good practices. So it's hard to do an end-of-year comparison to this year.
Joe Cook, please.
I know you redshirted. I know maybe the plan with Devin or Devon changed a little bit, but still he may not see a ton of minutes. What's key during that redshirt year for someone like him who, if he maybe plays, 10 minutes over the course of 2 months or something like that, how do you like stay focused, stay engaged, and make yourself a better player through that process?
Oh, you gotta love the game. You gotta love being in the gym. Red shirting and not. I redshirted and then didn't play much my second year, but just enjoying the game as much as I did helps me get through that. He is a sponge. He soaks up everything. He's got great practices, great personality, and his time frame is a little bit different than mine. I think that's why they decided not to redshirt him, just because his ceiling is so much higher than mine. Just some play time this year would benefit him a lot more than it would me. But he's got a really bright future.
One last follow-up. Eric Henry, go ahead, please.
Brock, real quick, just want to ask you on IT Horton specifically, what he's kind of brought to the team as a shooter, or whether it's been RT or a lot of the guys that talked about his shooting prowess. I wonder if you could just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, he's a shooter. He shot it well at his last school. He shoots it well right now. That's what shooters do.
Anything else for Brock? Mr. Cunningham, you're good. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Media, stay on hold here, please. We'll keep this going. RT will be right in.
Good morning.
Coach, can you hear me okay?
I got you, buddy.
All reminders to raise hand, please, and we'll get you in order. Mark Rosner, go ahead, please, sir. Roz, you're muted again.
Okay. Well, I thought we're supposed to stay on mute until we call on us. Okay. Good morning, Rodney. What makes Fiedler so efficient for Rice, and what do you try to do to make him uncomfortable?
You know what? He's in his 5th year of playing college basketball. He's an all-conference guy. He's a guy that shoots a very high percentage in the paint. He's an elite passer. Probably one of the best passers in college basketball. Probably one of the best passers in. You got Jokic plays at the next level, but this guy's an elite passer. He had 7 assists against us last year. You can't let him just play comfortable out there and stuff. If you let him play comfortable, he'll pick you apart like a quarterback. And they do a great job of cutting. Their guys finish cuts, and he's always looking to make the right pass, the right play. He's a smart player. He's an underrated offensive rebounder. He rebounds the ball really well. He had 5 offensive rebounds against us last year. He's the head of the snake. He makes the whole deal go. But he's one of those guys that, Chris Young a long time ago, who's now I believe he is the GM of the Rangers right now.
Yeah,
He
Princeton.
was really elite in the Princeton offense, doing exactly what Fiedler does right now. He was elite at it, elite passer, but one of the best passing big men in college basketball.
Thank you.
Eric Henry, please.
RT, just wanted to ask you, you've really emphasized the defensive intensity, from the onset of the year. Where you think this team is in that regard, making strides in that area, and just who are some of the guys maybe who've made the biggest strides in terms of their defensive play in the early going?
We're still a good work in progress. I think, again, just understanding the urgency you have to play with on every possession. We don't ask guys to go out and play perfect. We ask them to play hard, play with energy and activity. We're getting better with our energy and activity, getting our hands on balls and trying to get deflections and things of that nature there. But, we we're still working on getting better with keeping guys out of the paint and not allowing them to create, in the teeth of our defense for kick out shots and things of that nature. Our shooter defense, we're still getting better with that as well. And then finishing possessions. Early in the year, I think it's always critical you try to instill in your guys how important it is to try to finish possessions. You play a team that shoots a lot of threes, a lot of long shots, going to be a lot of long rebounds. So you got to be able to block out, be able to run down, 50-50 balls and be able to do those types of things. I think Dylan Mitchell is still getting rounded into pretty good shape in terms of how we want him to play defensively, whether he's switching off 1 through 5, guarding smaller guys. I think Caden Cedric, as he continues to play his way in the playing condition, I think he will be a factor for us defensively as well in terms of rim protection and pick and roll coverage. Brock always makes winning plays for us. But I think those guys, again, the next guy we're trying to get to play at an elite level defensively is Tyrese. We need him to want to be an all defensive player in the Big 12, just sitting down, guarding guys and make that a part of his calling card.
Thomas Jones, please.
Coach, you mentioned Dylan Mitchell. With Dylan Dessou still out and Caden kind of on a pitch count, do you foresee Dylan Mitchell's role changing at all as the season goes on?
No, I mean, we worked Dylan Mitchell all season long, all summer, all fall. He's going to be a guy that's a versatile player for us. I mean, he can play the 3, he can play the 4. It doesn't matter. So no, his role will be the same. I mean, he'll be kind of, in the role that we had Timmy Allen a little bit from time to time, where he gets a chance to play on the perimeter, he gets a chance to play in the post as well.
Christina, go ahead, please.
Hey, Rodney. I was just curious. I know it's kind of early in the season and Caden's just coming off of an injury, but in your eyes, how has he grown as an athlete or as a person since he's arrived at Texas?
Well, Christina, I think when he initially got here, even in the recruiting process, we knew he was a very articulate guy that really communicated at a very high level. I think as he got here in the summer and had his surgeries, I think it wasn't until the latter part of the summer that he was engaging more with his teammates in terms of being that guy that has a great personality and really talks and communicates at a high level with his guys. And I think as he's gotten closer to playing and even into the start of the fall, we've seen a whole different Caden in terms of his communication piece. He loves being at Texas. He loves going to soccer games. He loves going to volleyball games, and he loves Texas football at an incredible level as well. So, he's one of those guys that just has a great personality, and he's been very, very engaging, and a lot more so now that he's playing and he's back on the floor with the guys, and he's a guy that has a wealth of experience.
Noah, go ahead, please, sir.
Morning, Coach. Facing Rice again. I know last year when you guys got them, that was it was a circus going around the program. Not full circle, but are you able to reflect at all now that you get Rice again on just kind of what last year was, and now you get them again in a much different situation?
Well, last year's game, we knew going into the game last year that we were preparing for a well-coached Rice team, a team that had older players, and they've all been playing together for a while, and a really good shooting team, a really good offensive team. And we had a one-day prep for those guys. We have a 2-day prep for these guys this time right now. Again, another older team, 4 starters back from last year. An offensive team that really knows how to score. They've all been playing together for a number of years. You got Evie's going to leave as the all-time leading 3-point shooter. Mason's, a young all-league performer. Fiddler's been there forever. He's in year 5, so he knows what he's looking for. So you're getting an older group again that knows how to play and they're really good offensively. And, for us, it's a big game because it's the next game on our schedule. But we know we're going to get a team that's going to come in and they're going to compete at a high level and they're going to be really good offensively. So it's going to put a lot of pressure on us defensively to sit down and guard, block out, and finish possessions.
Have 3 more in the queue. Jeff Jones, go ahead, please.
Kind of building off of that landmark moment, I guess, last time you guys played Rice. From then until now, how are you a better head coach?
I don't know if I'm different. I think obviously, in, circumstances and situation last time was one where, you always have to be prepared to come in and coach the game. You're going to coach the game regardless if you're the head coach or you all have responsibilities in terms of what you do in terms of your job. I think, I was obviously having to thrust into, making decisions. A lot of times as assistants, you get a chance to make suggestions. As a head coach, you make decisions, and I think, I've been prepared my whole career to be able to do that. It wasn't like I hadn't done that before. I coached over 300 plus games already as a head coach, and 10 years of experience. So, obviously, did you have to work the rust off a little bit, having not done it in a year's time? Yes, but really, in an essence, I was already coaching without making final decisions in terms of what we were actually doing. You were making high level suggestions, So, I think every year you try to better yourself in every profession you're in. I had to do a deep dive in terms of where I needed to continue to get better, and still need to get better every single day. I think you have to always want to be a life learner and continue to want to improve and work at your craft every single day.
Joe Cook, please.
You talked about Fiedler a lot earlier for guys like Caden and as many minutes as he provides. And Zarek, do you see this as kind of a measuring stick game, considering some of the bigs you may face further down the road this season?
Well, Joe, I think again he's a really good player. Obviously we got to do a great job with him because he's really kind of the head of the snake in terms of really making a lot of things that they get done offensively. Getting done at a high level. But Brock's going to have to come in and do a great job on Fiddler. Caden, we'll do it by committee. No one guy is going to be asked to go out and try to shut him down or try to have to guard him and do it for 40 minutes. But no, we will ask those guys to follow the game plan in terms of how we're trying to guard him, and then how we're trying to also try to attack him also from an offense standpoint as well.
Last one to Mark Rosner.
Yeah, Rodney, with 22 assists and 20 turnovers, does that in the last game, does that tell you anything about the potential for the team if you cut down on the turnovers?
Yeah, and I think again, as our guys get familiar with one another and they continue to learn how important it is to value taking care of the basketball, we'll get better as the season goes along. We are sharing the ball and moving the ball. We want that. We encourage, our guys, making a simple play, hitting the open man, and that alone would cut down on your turnovers in that regards. But we have veteran guards, and they played a lot of college basketball over the course of the season. We'll get better and better in that area. But I do like the fact that we have 22 assists. We cut those turnovers in half, then we're right where we want to be in terms of our turnovers. We're going to turn the ball over some. We can't turn it over 20 times.
Everyone, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.